Blossom.
Go ahead,
Ah,
go ahead and start again, Judith. I'm sorry.
that's okay. That would really be okay. No. Year in haiku. Spring. White blossoms shimmer on gleaming raven branches. Bluebirds sing of spring. Summer. Silver orb. One moon floats above restful waters. Two moons glistening.
Like that.
Fall. Scarlet and gold leaves shimmer like heavenly stars. Frost paints earth below. Winter. Snowflakes dress cedars in gowns of sparkling white. A dark deer appears. My favorite poet, Mary Oliver, sadly for us, departed this planet in 2019. She left us the following: instructions for living a life. Number one, pay attention. Number two, be astonished. Three, tell about it. To this, I would only add, celebrate each season, even during tough years like this has been so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. For second prize, we have Sharon Mahaney with her poem Vernal Cusp. Sharon?
Okay. Let me get to it. There we go. All right. This poem is read in two halves. I read the left half first, followed by the right half. Vernal cusp. He ventures asleep in dormant, cradled crevices, winds into willows, crackling leaves, honors what is bare and bones, simplifying a world into white and black, watering air into soil, blows north to south, listening for silence to fill into his hands. They call him winter, and they still his slow-mo. She wakes with morning light, glistening of golden hair strewn behind her back, her parted lips taking in the psalms of doves. She bends along paths, gathering ripening bouquets, placing petals behind her ears. Her smile reaches from bud to bud. They call her spring, and they fondly relish her joy.
Thank you. Next, for third prize, we have the poem Journey by Allegra Silverstein. And I don't see Allegra here. James, would you like to read Allegra's poem, if you have that handy?
I have it. Just a moment. Oh boy, it's a long one. All right, journey. So many doubts I need to surmount, seeking the life-giving flow of water with no expectation of return, only the strength of resolve, letting feathers of ash lift me into dream of flight. To be a bird in feathered flight, to search in folds of the mountain, remembering embers beneath the ash and the dream of far off water. In this flight of soul, to hold my resolve past worries of no return. Though shadowed thoughts may return in this clouded journey of the soul's flight, I will hold to the heart of resolve, yearning toward the mountain where I seek the flow of clear water, like light that glows beneath the ash. Though desire burns and turns to ash, acceptance comes for no return. The vision of shining water entreats me to stay with my flight. Clouds nestled soft in the mountain, tenderly encourage resolve. This was the mystery I needed to solve, a story entwined in heart heat beneath ash, in a journey to the far-off mountain, forgetting concern for my return, letting the inevitable lead to flight toward the place of healing water. Found now in my own body, the water that wet my soul in strong resolve, in a journey of cloud spirit flight. Though heart fire turns to ash, my journey has circled into return, past doubts I had to surmount. Feathers of ash shine in the water, resolve turning to return in a flight to surmount all doubt. And that's a sestina.
Congratulations to Allegra. So our next category will be short poem. If we have time, we will go back and do honorable mentions, but I want to make sure that we have enough time for second and third prizes for the adults. Joan Gelfin also was the judge for the short poem format, and first prize went to Neil Whitman. Neil is not here, so Elizabeth, could you read his poem, if you have that handy? The poem is called When Days Get Short.
Sorry, I'm moving some documents around. Thank you for your patience. When days get short, a cinquain inspired by Catalan poet Joan Maragall. Downbeat, growing grim, yet one day of life is life. How to fight that late autumn dread. Cantar! That's it.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations to Neil for first prize. Second prize goes to also Sharon Mahaney for her poem At My Feet. Sharon happens to be the Pegasus winner from last year.
And I love my trophy. They're so beautiful. Thank you. This one's very short. At my feet. Ripples of water. A sense of the world evolving. Planets turning. Air expanding. Light burning. Ripples of water, always beyond reach.
Sharon, is there any way you can show us that poem? I have a copy of it, and the At My Feet is actually, which is the title, is actually not at the top of the poem. Can you see that, everybody? That's rather different, and I'm not complaining. I'm just remarking upon how you explore the limits of poetry in so many ways.
That's true.
Thank you. And next, for third prize, congratulations goes to Dan Williams for his poem Dove. Take it away, Dan.
Well, thank you very much, Rick. Thanks to all the poets. These are wonderful. This particular poem is part of a series of poems that I wrote regarding my years as an actor in the Bracebridge dinner at the Iwani Hotel in Yosemite Valley. It's a fictionalized view of the Bracebridge that I created. And this particular poem is called Dove. Above all this light and warmth, a dove hunches on the slates, taking its rest on the roof of the central tower. Orion light glistens in its dark eyes. Staring southward, it dreams meadows of white into fields of gold. A sudden mistral ruffles its feathers. It springs on its legs, carelessly launching into the rough gray arms of uncaring wind.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Next, we have the subject of any subject, any form, and thank you to our judge, Robert Cooper, who judged this category. First prize goes to Dan Williams for Last Ride with Uncle Rusty. Take it away, Daniel.
Thank you, sir. Uncle Rusty's Last Ride. Hot, dry September day on flats just south of Stockton. Burnt fields under a vengeful sun calling to its twins, punctureweed, star thistle. We waited on my aunt's front stoop, my two cousins and I, until the insect silence was shattered by the booming flatulence of a slung Harley Davidson. Kathy and Linda had their faces washed, their hair brushed for a special occasion. Their father coming for a visit, his hair long and red with a beard to match. I remember thinking how much like a Viking Uncle Rusty looked in denim and leather, lean and strong, not caring much for anything but his own crazy noise. Ignoring my aunt inside, he lifted us one by one in front of him, straddling the fuel tank of his bike as he roared down the road, turned and roared back. It was painted a dull black and had a huge cowhide saddle with colorful round widgets like pieces of candy, catching light all up and down its length. Rusty didn't say much. There was no fatherly advice or any show of emotion. He was content to let his machine and the experience of the ride speak for him. After he carefully lifted each of us down, he waved goodbye to his daughters and was gone like he'd been shot from a cannon, never to be seen by any of us ever again.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Congratulations for second prize goes to Nancy Haskett for Requiem for Scott. And James, could you read that one for us since Nancy's not here?
Requiem for Scott. His parents drove in silence, parked their car near the spot where his abandoned truck had been found. Once they carried hope, fragile and soft, as weeks became months, whispered not to give up until now that hikers had discovered his remains, now that fragments had been unearthed, now that the truth had been found in pieces under their feet. They walked through the forested area over a pine needle carpet thick enough to keep a secret buried for 7 months. They had no answers, nothing that would explain how their son, who was also a father, could leave to meet someone on a hot July afternoon and never return. Perhaps it is a bond that is never broken, a connection between a mother and her firstborn. Perhaps that would explain why, As she walked in ever-widening circles, eyes looking always down, she found another bone, overlooked somehow by all the other investigators, a rib bone of her son, a bone she once nourished from her body as he grew under her own rib, so close to her heart, so many years ago, when the future held such promise.
Thank you, James. Congratulations to Nancy for third prize. Congratulations goes to Kathy Dana for her poem, What He Said. So we'd like Elizabeth to read for her since she's not here today.
What he said. What he said, the way he said it. Memories wake up and she doesn't stop them, can't stop them. As the sky of her heart clouds over dark, Arctic dark, capital D dark, not like storm clouds that bring good rain or snow, but dark, fueled by icy winds that howl in the night, cruel winds that cut deep. What he said, the way he said it, memories stand up like tombstones, casting shadows that almost obscure ghoulish hands and skeletal feet emerging up from the earth, long ago buried, but now restless, reaching, clawing at the air. What he said, the way he said it, memories float up, haunt her, taunt her, like words that throb in her chest, echo in her mind, rattle her bones, and become vessels leading to her heart, her heart, her heart, until an almost buried incandescent light from deep inside begins to shine, ever so gently, until what he said, the way he said it, bursts into flame, and the phoenix rises.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Our next category is light and humorous, and we give our thanks to Judge Amit Parversar. And first prize goes to Linda for her poem, Ladling Up My Ladle Stock. Linda, take it away.
Roll call. Oops. Ladling up my ladle stock. After I pry our 3 ladles out of their crammed drawer, I hold them up high, ladle upside down and handle at a downward slope. Yet, I'm sorry, I'm having a facial twitch right now. Somewhat parallel to the floor. In this precise configuration, the ladles resemble swans in flight. I circle the kitchen with them. We're flying south to sunny climes on this nippy day. The ladles are excellent for this procedure, but as ladles, they fail. Ladle 1, this is ladle 1, has sharp edges that mar my fingers and hands when I attempt to ladle anything. No doubt this is due revenge for being in that crowded drawer. Ladle 2, it's like a weapon to chase away a stray moose. It is hefty, sturdy, good to have in your kitchen if you can lift it. It will always be bright, beautiful, shiny, and intimidating. You know, it might even be useful for a ladle. Who knows? I've never used it. Ladle 3. A throwback to the days of wine and roses, punch bowls. Oh, this is an enormous ornate presence that needs polishing and a good party with everyone chatting, laughing, and sipping mint julep in a yard filled with gardenias, meadows, and eternal sun. And this ladle could also be used as umbrella. I long for the one ladle I truly loved, the one I grew up with, the one that knows how to ladle. I was stunned to find one at Goodwill. It's petite with perfect pitch. I keep it in a place of honor, not in that hideous mishmash utility drawer. Oh, this ladle is sturdy, but not obnoxiously so, with the red bake-like stainless steel handle. The back of the handle states Androck stainless. You know, one can buy this ladle now used online. I paid 50 cents for it. And special bonus, all my childhood soup memories came tagging along.
Thank you. Excellent. For second prize goes to Lynn Hansen, and we will be serving up her poem, Appetizers. James?
Sure thing. Appetizers. It is the end of the year celebration, a day for a picnic for faculty and families, which is always a potluck at the dean's home. The chemist brings wine and sodas. The microbiologist provides homemade sourdough rolls and butter. The dean supplies the hot dogs or hamburgers, and the physicist stationed at the barbecue cooks the meat to suit the preference of each guest. The botanist serves green salad with blue cheese dressing, and the geologist presents the dessert, a chocolate marble cake. It is the biologist that passes a plate of deep-fried mystery morsels, the appetizers. With a twinkle in her eye, she begins serving them, first to the dean of the department, who eagerly sweeps 3 of them onto his plate. After a couple of bites, he finds that the appetizers are chewy, but battered and deep-fried, they please his palate. Then he asks, "Are these appetizers oysters?" The biologist, smiling, saying, "Yes, mountain oysters. We have been castrating calves all day. We didn't want them to go to waste." Everyone laughs, and the biologist chutzpah, feeding testicles to her boss. The dean asks for seconds.
Thank you. Not sure the last part of that was appetizing, but
I've heard they are, but I can't say for sure.
maybe it's just a male thing. The third prize goes to Neil Whitman for Poets Are the Canis Lupus. Elizabeth.
Poets are the Canis lupus familiaris of Homo sapiens. Both mostly get along on the beach, but rivals are known to nip. Dogs will eat almost anything. Have you seen poets at a conference buffet? With a little praise, both will eat out of your hand. Canine ears perk at a dog whistle, while poets hear words in the wind. As dogs on a walk sniff the air, their poet companions can smell spring. Both howl at the moon, dogs descendants of wolves, poets jackals. Wisława Szymborska noted that the self-critical jackal does not exist. I'd say poets are still evolving. Days draw in, both settle by a fire. Passing gas is to be expected. Ticks are a source of irritation. Poets in recital cannot stop yapping. Incisors bite, canines tear and shred, molars shear and crush. Editors, of course.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for reading. Our next category is for nature, and we thank our judge, this category, Colette Janopoulos. And our first prize goes to Linda for her poem, Roll Call for Blue on an Early Spring Morning. Take it away, Linda.
Unmute yourself, Linda.
Still need to unmute, Linda.
Got
There you
it.
go.
Got it. Okay. Roll call for blue on an early spring morning. It's difficult to have the blues this morning with the blue jay flaunting his flashy colors, almost outbluing the petite blue indigo, wearing a subdued but rarer and even more pleasing hue. Sun splashes the yard, scattered with shimmering blue and purple violets, warming themselves, imbibing the radiance, while the practical blue cornflowers start their day washing their hair in dew. All these fine designs in blue, except for the awkward pitch of the blue heron's gangly legs in the field across the way. Yet they too are gamely answering this call for all things blue.
Thank you, Linda. Second prize in this category goes to Elda Lepac. Linda, will you be reading for her?
No, she did not send me her poem.
Oh, okay.
I do not have it.
Elizabeth?
Can certainly do that. A Summer Symphony. From my window, I watch clouds roll and race. Fluffy and playful clouds, chased by the wind, are now more threatening. The maestro is undecided. Should this sky symphony be a lively capriccio, a soft sonatina, or hold the storm and stress of a symphony with all the bells and winds employed? Thunderous chords shake the house. A decision has been made. A syncopated staccato rhythm introduces the first movement as rain pelts my windows. With heightened senses, I listen for the andante moderato in the final movement. The lightning is less intense now. Thunder is a slow rolling drum. A rainbow stretches across the sky as the sun peeks out from behind a gently floating cloud. Bravo!
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next, we have a third prize goes in this category goes to Jeanette Jameson for Refuge on Beckwith Road. James, can you read for Jeanette?
Unmute. You'll need to unmute yourself. You're not unmuted.
Now I'm here.
Yep.
Yeah. I was starting by introducing this as a wildlife refuge that is about 8 miles out the west side of Modesto, maybe, to give you a place. Geese, snake, gray welkin, searching for repose in harvested fields. Their white bodies cluster as one. Aspirations rise when flight bursts one more time upwards like snow in a honking surge. Cranes tuck in flight feathers, their stately form disappears. Orange globe sets behind blue mountains and then winks to close. Coyotes chant to an envelope of dusk and darkness. Cold settles on my hands and face. Crescent moon glistens. Your absence does not fly. it remains caged in ribs. I wonder, will I ever feel your breath again? On my return drive, car lights illuminate puddles of rain. Trees sparkle their Christmas lights. Freight train rumbles down the tracks. A horn crackles stillness.
Thank you for that reading, James. Next category we have is technology and the human condition, also judged by Colette Janopoulos. First prize goes to Sharon Mahaney for Tech Savvy Carnival Games. Take it away, Sharon.
Thank you. So I hope by the end of this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Tech Savvy Carnival Games of Skill and Courage, February 2023. Everybody's talking about this week's fair. White balls bobbing above us all. Festive lanterns thrown halfway across the planet. Perhaps hit with a giant mallet and shot up as high as they would go, gravity permitting. Randomly drifting across aurora borealis, ice fields, plains, nuclear reactor high clearance sites, supposedly tracking airstream rivers. Have we been to the House of Mirrors? Or are we seeing straight? Have they been peeking at our privates, taking photos from the photo booth, squeezing into the tight box, big smiling, making finger gestures, leaning toward the special guest to get the prove they were there souvenir shot? In the next booth, a suspicious power player feels he must look in the scope and pull the stiffly rigged trigger, aiming at apparent danger. At this fiery gallery arcade, there are no painted wooden ducks, foxes, raccoons in the trees, concentric circle targets, or bells and whistles that ring out with hits and misses. Reputations are at stake, national security. Taking a calculated shot with a supersonic missile at this white, bobbing ball of unknown origin. The game seemed to take a turn. What seemed a ball fell like tissue paper and folded into the water like a hollow, ghost-like cloak wearing our future. What a quarter gets you nowadays.
Thank you, Sharon. Second prize goes to Dan Williams for Tuning Fork in C major.
Thank
Take it away,
you.
Daniel.
Tuning Fork in C major. On days our sun sings between Earth and Mars, further conversation ceases between these two sisters. Our mechanized explorers acting on their own or falling back on canned scripts do the bidding of maestros at consoles in oily Southern California air sour with greenhouse gas. But nothing speaks over, around, or through our huge musical star, roaring with the throat of billions of neutron bombs. If you distance yourself far enough away to distill its sound wave into a tiny gold hammer striking a silver tuning fork, the dulcet tone you'd hear just might be close to C major, Mozart's favorite. But then our rovers find themselves listening but hearing nothing but Earth silence on Mars. No usual commands to hum them through the sand and waste over small red rocks and up the side of Aeolus Mons, crusted at times with carbon dioxide frost. The 6 tracks with their V-shaped teeth come to a stop halfway up. Antenna circling, electronic circlets aglow, but no go for now. Everyone in town, Beethoven deaf.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
For third prize in this category, we have Neil Whitman is the winner. His poem, Whom Do You Trust? Let's see, and that goes to Elizabeth next.
Okay. Whom do you trust? A Silicon Valley AI company chose me to pose 5 questions to test the proficiency of their prototype chat box designed to simulate conversation. Question 1. If an infinite number of Shakespeares were left to bang on an infinite number of typewriters for an infinite number of years, could they write like a monkey? Question 2. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Question 3. Did the Mad Hatter use a pencil or a pen? Question 4. Did Robert Frost stop by the woods because he was feeling, kind of religious? Or did he take the wrong road and was, kind of lost? Question 5. Who wrote these questions? Me, as in the first person singular pronoun, or as in a memory electrode?
Thank you. Our next category is California, and we thank our judge, Sean Avengo Sanders. First prize goes to, again, Daniel Williams for Water Creatures in Yosemite Falls. Take it away,
Thank you, Rick. We have plenty of those creatures right now, I can assure you. Water creatures in Yosemite Falls. Ancient narrow ways for water to travel, to fall over the edge, and froth with air, to find its way in earth tones, and on freezing mornings to create frazzle ice out of frigid water, too cold to flow, but cold enough to form white pillows of ice, catching on cedar logs in channels, leaping out of chasms of falling water. Sunrise over Half Dome casts water shadow on gray granite, darker than the pure white of the water, curling and misting in carbon on the cliff, like a rendition of the waterfall in smoke. This fall is comprised of snow-white creatures, their tiny paws reaching ahead of them, their sharp snouts falling into the pool at the base where they vanish. The arc of color within the mist in the canyon, thousands of tiny crystals refracting light, turns into a silver arc in the light of a full moon. Such drama in this scene created by water, stones, air, and gravity. Such music from the large voice of smashing water, dropping down and further down to flow into channels of tame pools, and then hit the boulders broken from cliffs, now calling this river their home.
Thank you. Next, for second prize, goes to Dave Holt for The Road to Oakley Goes by Neurally. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And James, that goes to you.
Yeah, we ought to know how to pronounce that word. It's in the central part of California, but I didn't even know it was a real city until I looked it up. The Road to Oakley Goes by Narrowly. When I'm down and depressed, I soothe my soul by looking for something outside myself to love. I love that promising rain cloud over Antioch, the wild dance of a giant sycamore leaves, that thinnest of new moons on the horizon. I love sunsets that soak up the land's palette of color, dusty straw oat grass, brown sandy soil, peach yellow, carnation pink, from orchards of fruit, purple plum sky of dusk over grapevines. I love country roads at twilight, Byron to Bethany, a wooden California tank house on a farm for sale, empty fields once flourishing, famous Brentwood corn, now a museum, old machinery by the roadside, disc harrow, cultivator, grain drill, beat up boat trailer, abandoned Gran Torino sinks slowly into cactus weeds. I love that someone who wants to display their historic artifacts. Crossing Southern Pacific's tracks by way of Sand Hill, past old cottage industries of Empire Road, a fruit and strawberry stand, a recycling center, honey beeswax, mech stone sculptures, all being pushed out by malls. Across the canal, Sydney Flat to Somerville, I, wistful witness to their disillusion, heart yearning for landscapes disappearing, love old ways of life. When I'm sad and sulky, I ease my troubled mind by looking for something outside myself to love, like that dark cloud promise of rain to wash the land.
Thank you, James. For third prize, we went to Lynn Hanson for her poem California Dreamin', August 1955. Elizabeth, can you read that for us?
I will. California Dreamin', August 1955. After the gold rush assault on foothill streams and Ishi, the last member of the Yahi tribe, died. After John Muir lost Hetch Hetchy Valley to drowning by O'Shaughnessy Dam and Tule Lake disappeared into a sea of cotton, we left the evergreen forests of Oregon for destination California, our dreams packed in a 53 Chevy attached to a stock trailer burdened with our belongings. It was mid-August during the summer inferno in the long, hot skillet of the Central Valley. Our car wheeled along Highway 99, artery of life, lined with blood red, baby pink, or snow white oleanders. Palm trees stood like elegant ballerinas at edges of olive, peach, citrus, or walnut groves. This is where we met foreign crops of pomegranates, black figs, and the soft curves of green rice fields, where the fragrance of wet humus drifted from irrigated land, a picture of abundance, our California dream. What we didn't notice was the stoop labor of braceros and Dust Bowl expatriates, their struggles for fair wages and union representation, or racial covenants on property perpetuating segregation. As small dairy farmers, we faced a drudgery of days, insecurity of milk prices layered over frayed threads of our parents' marriage. Like many, our dream a mirage.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Our final category is Thoughts on Humanity, also judged by Sean Van Gogh Sanders. First prize goes to Nancy Fowler for her poem, News Report from Yemen, or Was It? Congratulations to Nancy. James, can you read for her?
Thank you. News report from Yemen, or was it Gaza, or maybe Aleppo? He watches the boy in the red paisley shirt rummage in the rubble of the grocer's stall, then slip still wrapped candy under his shirt. Other children on the street, torn clothing, frosted with dust, eyes bulging at what they see or deadened by the devastation of their neighborhood. Some roll into a ball in the middle of the square, hands over their ears, screaming, but unheard as the bombs drop around them, on the people, on their dreams. The boy in the red shirt stumbles, then falls on the cobbles. Oh God, let him rise again. Another boy, one in a football t-shirt, DC United, touches the eyes of his friend and closes them, ignores the still seeping blood, and takes the candy.
Thank you, James. The next poem is congratulations to Sharon Mahaney for second prize for A Lark, a Loon, an Eagle, and an Eye. Sharon.
A lark, a loon, an eagle, an eye. My friend must be a bird, states Emily Dickinson. My friend must be a bird because she lands in the heart of my life, a nest, a tree, because espaliered she grows into a lattice, branching, a sky, a cloud. Because of her, the air breathes me as I breathe her. A union, a tapestry. We pull upon each fiber as if invisible, our sacred sense of value. A secret, an open hand. What is a friend if not a bird?
Thank you, Sharon. And third prize goes to somebody named Rick Costa for a poem called Parallax Views. I don't know how he got in here, honestly.
Must be a mistake, Rick.
That was my first thought when I saw the list come out.
You deserve it, man.
So very unexpected. And so anyway, it's called Parallax Views, and it's about my witnessing the death of my friend Marilyn Melnico. From where I sit, she clings to the rock, fingers pressed tightly. Painful waves wash over, above the chasm, lying on her shifting bed. Cycles of pulse and breath, racing to catch themselves. Sleep without rest, a spring wound tight, wrestling with the darkness. From where you lie, an Odysseus lashed to a mast, straining against the cords, leaning in toward the call of my beloved, who beckons me to leap. In the end, a leaf letting go of mortal coil, one sigh of release as light embraces and pain is no more. Epilogue. Last night you returned, refreshed and relaxed, a younger face smiling upon that final bed. I kissed you goodbye. When eyes opened, you lingered above me, a sweetness like cream. Now you walk with him in a peaceful garden. Thank you. So we want to, before we transition over to our student poems, again, thank you for all who participated. We're honorable mentions for Daniel Williams for the first category, for Pantoum for Young Drummer. For category 3, there was 3 honorable mentions, one for Elda Lepac for What Leon Collects in Her Box, to Rick Costa for Late Night Call, and third honorable mention went to Allegra Silberstein. For Light and Humorous, the honorable mention, first one went to Jeanette Jameson for Patented by Mary Anderson, Sharon Mahaney for Shopping the Mall, and Nancy Haskett for her poem, Two Surprises. In category 7 for California, Neil Whitman had an honorable mention for Lofty Aspirations, and Sharon Mahaney also an honorable mention for Traveling the Golden State. In the final category for Thoughts of Humanity, Dan Williams had an honorable mention for Blower of the Whistle, and Catherine Moran for an honorable mention for Leaving a Part of Myself. So I wanted to also, one person we have not acknowledged here so far for the adult contest is Cleo Griffith. Cleo was our contest chair, and Cleo, we want to thank you heartedly from the bottom of our hearts for your participation. Would you like to say a few words about?
Yes, I would like to say that the Golden Pegasus was won this year by Linda Ashbrenner, and that was for her poem, Ladling Up My Ladle Stock. And I think it's the first time that a humorous poem has won the Golden Pegasus. But I just found that one totally enchanting. And Roadrunner Up was What Leon Collects in Her Box by Elderly Pack. And I wondered, since the honorable mentions were not read, if we could have Linda read Elda's poem that was the Roadrunner Up, the best, my pick of the best of the honorable mentions. And it just happens these two people are sisters. And I didn't even realize that when I was picking out the winners. Did not enter my mind until afterward. So I would really like to hear Linda read Elda's if we can.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Am I?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I would love to read it. My sister Elda is in Florida now visiting family there, and I think she was sort of overwhelmed by all the commotion coming and going, and I did not receive her poems, but sorry that maybe at some future time Elda would be present at a reading and could read that poem. Because
Well, James and I have that. If you would like it read, one of us can do it.
sure, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, could I say I love the readings that were done today. You sound very professional. I just loved hearing your voices and your presentations. It was
Go ahead,
Wonderful.
Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay, I have it. So this is the Roadrunner Up, the best of the honorable mentions. It was in the Any Subject, Any Style category, and it's written by Elderly Pack, who lives in Hendersonville, North Carolina. What Leon collects in her box: 3 stuffed animals, 1 roll of medical tape, 1 red ring from a bathtub toy, 1 remote control from Grandpa's TV, 1 pink paper napkin, 1 plaid cloth coaster, 4 board page books, a Halloween card with a cat on it.
Please ask Papa to mute on the award call.
A much used and abused rattle, a toy radio with lots of buttons, a white ribbon with navy blue stars, a bedraggled yellow bow, a small brown bowl, and Leon. What Leon collects in her box.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for reading that.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break, and then we will return for our student contestants.
Remember that old commercial? Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Exactly.
Or let's all go to the lobby.
I should also mention that today is Norma's birthday. So she's, I believe, 101 today.
101.
Yeah, so she is off
Amazing.
celebrating with family, so she was unable to
And
join us today, but she will be.
well, she should be celebrating at 101. Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
Thanks.
Mhm. Does anybody else have any poetic news that you'd like to share with the group? If you'd like to unmute. Okay, we'll come back in 5 minutes.
Rick,
Yes. Hi, Judith.
hi. I just wanted to, is there a way we can talk privately?
I can give you a call.
Will you do that?
Sure.
Let me just get my phone, okay?
Okay.
Wait 1 sec.
Okay.
म्यूट करना
ऐसा करा म्यूट
कम करना बानू करना नहीं तो
We'll be starting in the next 3 to 4 minutes for the students.
Okay, Rick? Rick?
Hi. Yes. I don't have your phone number in my phone here, so let me.
408?
Okay, just a second. Okay.
340?
Mm-hmm.
0370?
Okay. I'll call you in a second.
Thank you. Hello? Is Raven gonna be there? only one of them has an honorable mention.
James, I'll need you to check your chats in a moment.
Okay, welcome back. So we will now be hosting and celebrating our 2023 student contest winners. The first category was for junior poem, any subject or style, and we give thanks to our judge Nancy Kennett. And first place goes to Arohi Goel. Hopefully, Arohi, I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Go ahead and unmute yourself. I know that you're here.
Yeah, you were pronouncing it right.
Oh, thank you.
And could we just have everyone else to go ahead and mute yourself, because it's very startling to be reading your poem and have someone's noise in the background interrupt you. Thank you.
Thank you. Living only an hour away from one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to, I've been lucky enough growing up to visit San Francisco many times. And I hope you enjoy this poem about one of my many journeys to the city. By the Bay. On a family outing to San Francisco, we stopped to admire the Golden Gate Bridge, swathed in familiar fog. Taut, rust-red cables and twin soaring towers remind us of postcards. Upon departure from this marvel, we drive up and down hills as we gaze at the ocean between buildings on our way to Ghirardelli Square and its shelter from the cold. Wind stings my arms as we reach our destination, leaving me quivering while pushing the cafe doors open to a surge of welcome warmth. As we settle into leather chairs, hot chocolate arrives in fired clay cups. Steam billows warming our reddened noses as we relax, toasty mug, at last returning feeling to my fingers. Beyond the window beside us, street lamps reflect on yesterday's puddles, glowing cherry red from open signs, inviting passersby to snack or shop. Back on busy streets, we buy a paper bag of warm donuts from a stall. Soon, cinnamon and sugar dust my fingers as buttery scent mingles with salty sea gusts. And one evening's visit to San Francisco seems like a vacation for all to enjoy. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the excursion in my poem of place.
Thank you, Arohi. Wonderful. We have, for second place, we have United, a poem called United by Jane Lee. James, can you read that for us? James, unmute, please. James, you need to unmute. There we go.
United. Upon first entering my high school's home for music, a hive of revolving rehearsals, I find a maze of hallways, practice rooms, and stairs to seek my instruments, silent but vivid, flags and sabers. Shy mouse, quick and quiet, I spotted an equipment cart to help me launch my long attraction to color guard. Soon, upon entering my home away from home, strings strumming, marimba playing, drums beating, flutes whistling, welcome me as I run to our practice room where green and silver fabric on flagpoles flash and shining silver sabers await my spin, juggling them before large mirrors while rehearsing. Daily, both the band and guard meet together, musicians unzipping instrument cases and rustling sheet music, while we, guard members, with black-gloved hands, grasp our equipment and warm our winter-frozen fingers as we start to twirl. Then, band and guard together march from our hive to perform at sunset, flags waving, band playing, sabers gleaming. As the sun dips below the horizon, we finish dress rehearsal with smiles and cheers for tomorrow's performance.
Thank you, James, for reading that. Third place goes to Sophia Ba for her poem, A Perfect Pair. She is from Mount Pleasant High School. Sophia is not here today. Elizabeth, could you read her poem?
Sure thing. A Perfect Pair. It's 11 a.m. Sunday morning. Yesterday afternoon, we took a trip to Costco. While you picked out the perfect watermelon, I strayed away to follow the warm scent of pastries. Buy one, get one free, the sign read. Then important thoughts ran through my head. Everything bagels or the plain nothing bagels? Let's get them both, your sweet voice said. Now it's 11:12 in the morning. While you're preparing our perfectly crisp watermelon cubes, I'm toasting our circular fluffed bagel. Today, the sun shines as we set the table. The toasted plain bagel lays on a plate, and the watermelon stays gathered in a bowl. I pass you your preferred top half of the bagel, and I sit to prepare my usual bottom half. Great! A crunchy bagel with smooth cream cheese, sweet watermelon with a taste of savory bagels. Someone like you and someone like me. A perfect breakfast, a perfect pair.
Thank you so much. Our next category is light or humorous, and we thank our judge, Lori Wheeler. And we will, just to let you know, give you all a heads up that we will be, for the students, we are so appreciative of all the hard work that you have put into your artwork here and your writing. We wanted to fully recognize you. We see you, students, as being the future of Chaparral Poets. And so we will be hearing from all the poems today, both those that place first, second, and third, and also the honorable mentions. You have a little extra time docketed here for us. So we'll go first to Daniel Zhu for his first place poem, Speechless. He is from the Harker School. Daniel, please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Daniel. Thank you. Go ahead, Daniel.
Maybe a microphone issue. We can't hear you.
Yeah, Daniel, we can't hear you.
Is this better?
Yeah,
yes,
there
much
we
better.
go.
Much better. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Famous children's writer and cartoonist Dr. Seuss once defined young love. You know you're in love when you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better than your dreams. Please enjoy my poem, Speechless. Hello, I whispered, trying not to blush. For the brown-eyed girl replied in a greeting just as small. And in that moment, some part of me knew our friendship would prove anything but small. Where are you headed? I asked after class and coughed to hide my voice cracking. Math, she answered, tucking dark hair behind her ears, and I smiled as we headed in the same direction. I'll see you tomorrow, I promised with a grin after school, but again the last two words broke in a threaty tone. She smiled back, but as I turned to leave, I grimaced, as did my heart. Oh no, it's Friday, sprang to mind as I tried saying sorry, but my voice broke to pieces as she walked away wearing our smile. But this weekend, I'll wear anything but. Saturday came and I sat starstruck. No rest or relaxation for me that day or the next. I'll have to pray and wait until Monday to speak, but if she smiles again, I'll put one on too. So enjoy all the smiles tomorrow, and thank you for being a great audience.
Thank you, Daniel. Second place next goes to Arohi Guel for Pond Haven. She goes to Basis Independent Silicon Valley. Arohi, take it away. Congratulations.
One always hopes that in writing poetry, we can deepen our knowledge of nature as it follows its cycle of seasons, as I have done in my poem, Pond Haven, in haiku. Blue heron swoops past, weeping willows and stout stalks. Frog hides, laying eggs. Warm wind wags cattails. Yellow pond lilies flourish. Frog guards tadpoles. Red maples, gold beech reflect in moss-topped mirror. Frog dreams beneath leaves. Silence rules the pond, now glassy among snowdrifts. Frog sleeps under ice. I hope my poem encourages you to observe and appreciate your surroundings in this precious season of spring.
Thank you, Arohi. For third place, we have goes to Jane Lee for the poem Epiphany. And Jane is from Saratoga High School. James, can you read that poem, please, Epiphany?
Sure. Epiphany. Everyone tells me, shoot for the moon. So I aim my dreams at the boundless sky, release my arrow like Diana did so long ago, though it misses its mark like hers never did, and flies way above the stars. I know she would never give up. So hold my breath and wait for it to land somewhere, but it plummets into the blackness. Dreams unfulfilled. I wonder why friends and family never tell me what to do when I fail and grieve, losing hope until Diana sends me a message from afar. Sometimes shooting for stars does not satisfy, but failure always leads to learning. A star in its own right. At last, I grasp truth. If I keep learning, my life will be star-studded.
Thank you for reading, James. And we have a first honorable mention went to Bhavi Ariki from Evergreen Valley High School for the poem Friends Till the End. Elizabeth, can you read that for us?
I couldn't open that document, so Dad's going to have to read it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on a moment.
While he's opening that, I wanted to acknowledge, give special thanks to Judith Sutton for all the work that she does with the wonderful students, Bill Peck, and also to Raven Cisco. Raven has been monitoring us. She's feeling sick today, so she's would love to be participating today, but is under the weather.
So this one is Friends Till the End. Friendship is like the sun. It lights up your day. A friend is someone who'll never walk away. They laugh with you and cry with you. Though all the highs and lows, they listen to your worries and help you with your woes. A friend is always there for you through thick and thin. They stand proudly. They share their secrets and their dreams and lend a helping hand generously. They're the ones you call at midnight when you're feeling down and blue, and they'll always be there to remind you that they'll never stop loving you. So let's appreciate friendship and all the joy it brings. With friends by your side, you'll always find the strength to fly with wings.
Thank you. So we have our next category will be nature and environmental concerns. Our thank you to our judge, Linda Lapin. First place went to Maya Turner for the poem How I Love That I Can No Longer Breathe. And Maya goes to Santa Teresa High School. I don't believe she's here. Elizabeth, can you read her poem, please?
All right. How I love that I can no longer breathe. My gray nature, you inspire me to write. How I love the way you kill and expire all to man, invading my mind day and through the night, always dreaming about the toxic breath you spray every night. Let me compare you to a wasteful arch. You are more decay and contaminated than tart. Bad clouds dole the bright flowers of March, and springtime has started. How do I love you? Let me count the ways. I love your poison, smoke, and pollution. Thinking of your mutant air fills my days. My love for you is the cherry shushin. Now I must away with a wary heart. Remember my great words whilst we're apart.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. Second place goes to Kiara Turner for the poem Look Around. Kiara is from Herman Intermediate School. And I don't believe that Kiara's here. James, can you read for her?
Look around. You said you would protect us. You said you were serious about the climate crisis. You said you would cut greenhouse gases. But you said yes. You said yes to drilling a hole into the earth, an injury it's far too used to. 80% of Earth is gone. And for what? Profit. Something so simple can change our planet entirely. But what's the point in doing so if we can't even live on it?
Thank you, James. Third place goes to Daniel Zhu for his poem Trailing at Tamalpais. Daniel goes to the Harker School. Daniel, take it away.
The mountains are calling and I must go, wrote John Muir, world-renowned naturalist and writer. Thus, now I will take you to Muir Woods, a grove of nearly 2,000-year-old redwoods hidden in a valley of Mount Tamalpais, just north of San Francisco. And so I present Trailing at Tamalpais. As fellow hikers march on, I pause on the worn dirt path to watch my misty side disappear with wind. Seldom has nature spared my weary soul a seat. A legion of redwoods flanks my left as I quiver at the regiment's imposing shadows. On my right, a clear river rushes past, and my heart skips in wonder at its pure waters. As thrushes and robins harmonize above, I ache to join their carefree celebration of the elusive Elise, the elegant muse inspiring their melodies and harmonies, their forte and pianissimo. But at my feet stands firm the path, now scorched, despite the redwood's battle with victorious sun, despite the river's cold, constant current. I trudge on as the songbirds fall silent, return to their high yet humble homes. Hope you enjoyed the trip, and thank you for your kind attention. It has been an honor to share my poetry with you.
Thank you, Daniel. Next, we have a first honorable mention for this category to Arohi Goel for her poem Grand View. And Arohi is from Basis Independent Silicon Valley.
At the top of one of Saratoga's foothills stands exquisite old Grandview Ranch, a private center of the visual arts, including painting, sculpture, photography, and architecture, as well as being an inspiration for poets. Those fortunate enough to visit find poems within them almost fully formed. Grandview. Pink and white blossoms flow on lapping water, each delicate ripple fashioning shiny rings before smoothing the mirror once more. In the golden age of road building, shimmering starlight filters through leaves and dances on silent paths paved in crushed stone. Wildflowers encircle Demeter's marble feet, stems wavering in gentle wind, like flickering firelight used to guide restless souls in search of solace at night. They find it amidst a grove of olive trees. Indeed, experiencing Grandview firsthand provided material for a lifetime of poetry, and I feel so fortunate to have gotten to explore sheer beauty as young as I did. Wish I could have taken each one of you with me.
Thank you, Arohi. That was wonderful. Next, we have a second honorable mention for nature and environmental concerns went to Jane Lee from Saratoga High School for her poem Goddess ? Elizabeth, can you read that for us?
Excuse me while I locate. I'm not sure I have that one.
It's in the middle of the set.
I don't think I received it. Do you have it, Dad?
Yes.
Could you?
All right, I'll read it. Goddess, like an exquisite naiad of ancient times, she lives by a lake, spends hours on shore. In sunlight, her cheeks grow pink as spring roses, hair shines silken gold. Close friends for years, moodiness changed her from the carefree girl of our childhood. Now, I keep more distant, as when events don't go exactly as she expects, Tears start sliding down her face, so I end up bowing to her wishes until her storm passes. Many teachers and friends feel the same, wish the once joyful nature goddess would reappear.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Jane. The next category we have is Thoughts on Humanity, and we thank our judge, Jessica Asher. First place goes to Daniel Zhu for his poem, Soul Talk. Daniel is from the Harker School. Daniel, take it away.
That animating principle of a person which includes one's identity, personality, and memories with the ability to survive physical death is the common definition of the word soul, and many traditions claim that we all have one. So let's have some soul talk. Some emotions tumble in words off the tongue, spread like paints on the canvas, weigh so much inside me, they burst out with no restraint. Others build, calm and collected in silence, and live within, never in daylight. Rather evolve every second or reside forever deep in the soul. Emotions create bombs waiting to blow, families breaking apart, puzzles so provoking, an odd piece settles with their resolution. Yet emotions also forge seeds of maturity, bonds of understanding, roots so strong in our souls, we know real peace and start to bloom. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my tribute to the inner worlds we all carry around with us.
Thank you, Daniel. Next, for second place, we have Arohi Goel for her poem Regatta, and Arohi is from Basis Independent Silicon Valley. Take it away.
To me, thoughts on humanity cannot be earnestly reflected upon without considering the importance of relationships. Sometimes we are lost, and sometimes we are the ones to guide others to safety. Either way, we cannot go it alone. Regatta. For life's regatta, our crew brims with eagerness to prove ourselves. Bonding ranks as vital, as necessary as water. Daily, I watch teammates tie their lives together, creating close relationships for safety. We alternate between two roles, sturdy lighthouse and lost ship. For some, the instinct to become a lighthouse keeper dominates in hopes of saving all ships by working through night to guide some wandering raft ashore until pink sky illuminates the void. Riding out the choppy waves of our day, we triumph but cannot bring ourselves to talk about it. Instead, I throw out our winning message in a bottle, in hopes someone who needs help will find it. This is how it feels to be human. I hope this poem has inspired you to think deeply on humanity and the important relationships that help shape your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Arohi. That was wonderful. Third place prize goes to Maya Turner, who is from Santa Teresa High School. Her poem is called Humanity No Longer Human. James, can you, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Can you read for Maya?
I'm ready. Humanity no longer human. People say they've lost faith in humanity, as if humanity made them this way, as if their loss of faith is responsible for their disarray. Humanity is not a person whom we can invade. Humanity is what you make it how you choose to restrain it. Humanity is only something we want to believe, so we can groan when we ask how it all went wrong. In doing so, we won't bear the blame. He made me do it. It was not an affair, a manipulation to why we're in despair. You say you've lost faith when it was never there. You continue to separate yourself, detangle the knot that was once strong. You were seeking in a crowd that was already gone. Without faith in one another, humanity is postponed. Decoding humanity alone is only an endless tunnel to the unknown.
Thank you. And next we have a first honorable mention to Riddhi Sharma for the poem To the Citizens of Jailtown. And Riddhi is from Evergreen Valley High School. Riddhi, take it away. Congratulations.
Thank you. To the Citizens of Jailtown is a broad interpretation of humanity and society's materialistic daily lifestyle, but it ends with a hopeful promise of a possibility for them to transform. We wish for something as healing as the sky's sunsets, but never the most glorious jewels of others. We partake in identical talent shows in the same sets, but the judges are our competitors. We convey that we understand this world, but we are nothing more than our main forces. Security but shootings, marriages but divorces. We readjust the ticks of our clocks while examining the haze of others' rumors. We await our hopeless fleeing taxi, trying to escape this wasteland filled with Oscar-winning actors. We built a golden palace with maquillage and judgmental platforms, but now it's fallen to nasty storms. Our delusional sanities flutter around flowers of perfect lovers and bills of founding fathers, which lead us to a state that misforms. All in front of the mirror we refuse to glance at because it's sprayed with misleading mist. Mother, on our birthday, gave us clay and we molded it into a curse, shattered bliss. 3 times the mind we obtain, we overthink and rehearse the worse. And you, sighing, have been taken advantage of for your gains, everyone swiping money from your purse. Indeed, we'll get drunk and dance through the same blazing maze, all zombies chasing others on heels, till we reach that spot of our first wine spill, till karma takes our keys and locks us up for our ills. Ditching our jobs to crawl to parties with suit sapiens, the orb spins endlessly while we glimpse with lifeless eyes, whose diamond is sparklier, our Definians. Oh, and we always forget the reason, we always forget the causes of our claws. People are screaming with boards, hopeless hopes, the riches carving outlines of society's flaws. But every day, I still choose to roam through a foggy, dark forest of wounded souls crying in their lows. I rub the antiseptics and erase their nose, insisting they perform their shows. We were set free in this world, but choose to lock ourselves down in woe. This never-ending war is governed by the hierarchy's fingers, a never-ending matrix of no's. My tears dash down when I see those dead daisies, once so merry in the past springs, but I continuously pluck them in yearnings of other life savings. My dimmed-out candle may have been lit after all, so carry this fire and shimmer the whole hall. Wipe out the mist, spotlight the deep recall. Spread your word by breaking down your prison wall. Tear the taxi tickets and abandon superficial parties. Run away, run and be happy. Shine in the riskiest rain, dance with your hair in a mess. Row opposite the strain, and forever remember to polish your conquest. Thank you for your thoughtful attention to my work.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Really great. Okay, next we have a second honorable mention for Jane Lee for her poem Colors. Jane is from Saratoga High School. James, can you read for her? Did I get dropped? There we go. James?
Unmute.
Now we go. Colors. Don't just scratch the surface, people say. So why? Why do we judge others by their skin color? We make them feel mad, like the color red, blue, like the rain on Sunday, gray, like failure. Don't just scratch the surface, we say. So why? Why do we judge people by their skin color? Fault does not lie in color. White, light, brown, or black, it does not matter. Are we not human beings? Should skin color limit rights? No. We are equal, and that is that. Don't just scratch the surface, people say. So don't judge us by our skin color.
Thank you. Well read. Our next category is senior poem. Thanks to our judge, Kathy Head. And first place goes to Winnie Weddick Chow. And I don't believe she's here. She is our cult winner this year. Congratulations to Winnie. Elizabeth, can you read Winnie's poem?
I would be honored. So we've moved on from the junior level to the senior level. Now I don't know if that was a clear delineation. So first place in any subject, any style, The Fate of Wandering Cells. And this has a footnote to the title. And it says, a phrase taken and modified from Ariel Precision Medicine's article, Mother's Day Genetics, How Long Does a Mother Carry a Child? The title again is The Fate of Wandering Cells. The belly button is a scar, sunken remnants of a motherly tether severed. My lungs forced to bloat, to breathe, just breathe. I checked the swells of my lungs and heard, I'm alive, I'm fine, I'm alive. During pregnancy, fetal cells wander into the mother's bloodstream, mending the scars of motherhood. It's every child's blood oath, bound to look in your eyes and ask, what are we having for dinner? When I mean, where else can I heal you? Alive, but my wandering cells have died and I can't heal you anymore, not the old way. The belly button is a scar, Mama. So is the slash on my shin that time I left for camp and tripped through my tears. Either or, a choice to leave and be scarred. But until then, I'll tether myself home, watching the seasons etch rings around your smile with each, I love you, good night. And that's Winnie Whiting Winnie Chow from Piedmont High School.
Thank you. The next second place we have goes to Hannah Mukhtar for her poem Face Value. And she is from Excel Middle College. Hannah, I believe you're here.
Yes, thank
Take it
you so
away.
much. So my first poem is Face Value, which was inspired by a lot of high school experiences I've had. So, face value. One face. Kids run around me in a blur. Crouched with a book in hand, I sit. A tiny black dot in a sea of swirls. Crisscross, crisscross. Students dart around. One approaches and asks a question. I lie. Two faces. I have a friend now, sure as swell. We both like the same things if I keep inside. One more approaches, out of the blue. Another question is asked, and I lie again too. Three faces. Why are you acting strange? One friend asks. At the start, I remember that I put on the wrong mask. New school, new me, a whole group approaches. I lie once more, and they swallow me whole. 10 faces, I get along with everyone, oh so well. They all love me for who I am, so long as the faces, they're kept apart. Every day I crumble some more, questions rip at me piece by piece. Rip, 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 and I am whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Exceptional poems from our students. Thank you so much. Next, we have third place going to Maya Flores. I believe Maya is here. She is from Gonzales High School, and her poem is called You Threw Me Out in the Water. Take it away, Maya.
Hello. This poem was inspired by myself. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just, okay, I'm a little nervous, but I wrote this poem because so many people kept judging me about how I don't know how to swim. So I turned it into a poem and I entered it. It's my first contest. So excited. This is my poem. You threw me out in the water. You threw me out in the water, even though I told you I don't know how to swim. Your expectations drowned me. I'm not the girl you should be with. I can't sit here and look happy, pretend like I enjoy your family. The fake persona that you gave me was just to frame me as one of the portraits that hangs in your hallway, that stares blankly all night and day, to make sure you made your father smile and that your mom would want me to stay a while. I drowned in the lake you made me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a first honorable mention goes to Sofia Navarro Soltero from Gonzales High School for the poem "Oh to Be." Elizabeth, do you have that to read?
I think those are two more that I wasn't able to access.
Okay, James.
I don't think I'm muted right now. Oops, I'm going to have to expand. Sorry.
They're a little hard to find.
I've got it now. Okay, here we go. Oh, to be buried where the bunnies built their burrows, where the sun pecked in curtains, though moist. Let me start that one over. Where the sun pecked in curtains, though moist, scared bark in salute, feeding the roots of rotting wood, bound leaves and branches. Oh, to be buried where the moss grasps the rock with name scratched in deep, where the ants and spiders climb to build on the warm stone, and generations dance in marvel of the spacious cavern in your skull. Oh, to be pieced together whole by the twisting vein-like vines and thirsty roots, where once there were thoughts and fears, now feed thousands in their plight for life, taking your spine and smoothing its harsh arches to dull gravel. Oh, to be but bone and earth with arms spread in an embrace toward the sky, vines and stems intertwined between your toes, teeth, and bones, the ants that jigged through your ribs and through your all-open sockets. Oh, to be sent through the wind with breath, staining the forest, lush and green, eating your being. Wind blowing whispers in every direction as the soul travels its infinite journey. Oh, to be baby-faced, reborn into the fawn whose mother took part in your grass, to be breathed in by its lungs as it stares up onto the treetops, where there lay needle-thin locks of hair interwoven with the green, and the woodpecker whole eyes of the tree look back in wonder as your branches reach down in a warm welcome home, as you exchange familiar breaths through new life and trembling limbs. That's by Sofia Navarro Soltero.
Thank you, James. Second honorable mention goes to Victoria Lee. I don't believe that Victoria is here. She is from Piedmont Hills High School, and her poem is called Drowning Fish. Elizabeth, do you have that?
That one's another I don't have.
Okay.
Thank you, Dad.
I'm sorry. This one's called Drowning Fish. We tried sinking roots, sprouting wings, striding forward with 2 feet. But somehow we forgot our fins. That's by Victoria Lee.
Great, thank you. Our next category for senior poems is light or humorous. And thank you to our judge, Tyson Amir. First place goes to, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Avik Belenhe for the poem One Day. And Avik is from Saratoga High School. Avik?
Mm-hmm.
I hope I got your name correct.
Belenje, pretty close.
Belenje, okay. My apologies.
Sorry, 1 second. Charles Dickens once wrote, "Procrastination is a thief of time. Collar him." Dickens produced 15 full-length novels, 5 novellas, and countless stories and essays. In his honor, I present my poem today amongst all of you dedicated to writing. One day. The time ticks by as I slouch doing whatever doesn't need to be done. I use up half my energy listening to my droning teacher. No, I won't remember it. Quick as possible, I complete an abundance of drudgery, return to my typical state of vegetation, where my only thinking is, what snack to eat next. When teachers ask for reasons my grades decline, I promise to work harder, knowing in secret change will last a few days. Each night I tell myself today was the last day. Tomorrow I will try as hard as I can, but the cycle persists. I find myself wishing I enjoyed learning via Zoom, dream of looking forward to the next lesson, hope one day to grab hold of my own motivation. One day. And now I ask you, how many ideas for poems have you had that never made it to paper? I hope you make use of the time that might otherwise go to waste. Thank you for your thoughtful attention, and I feel honored to be invited to read here with you today.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful. Next, we have second place goes to Aleja Casillo from Gonzales High School, and the poem is called Salty Smells. And I don't believe that Aleja is here. Elizabeth, do you have that one?
I'm ready to read this one.
Okay.
Salty smells. Diving into the ocean is how it starts. Crashes of shock hit my skin like waves do. But unlike the waves easily flowing, a sudden wake becomes a call. I've forgotten how to swim. Panic rushes through my heart, as do the waves. Pushes me away. I've reached my mark, my point, the sand. What was that taste? Bitter? Salty? Pickly? Pickles is what comes to mind, although image-wise might not be best for my mind as I leave the flavored ocean I walk through my pickly sandwich with salty smells.
Thank you. Good job. Third place goes to Wedding Winnie Chow from Piedmont Hills High School for her poem, Are You Okay? James, do you have that one?
Yes. Are you okay? I met a man yesterday, a businessman, the type who befriends to bait. You see, I wore my red dress, the one with the hood. I don't accessorize anymore because she left and she only ever complimented my dresses. But anyway, he kept trying to sell me jewelry. You know, I think I was his bait. Can you believe that? Me? I'm smart about those things. I'm good with people. Anyway, that necklace was gorgeous. Delicate apples entangled in serpentine hands. I think I should have bought it anyway.
Thank you. Next, we have first honorable mention goes to Hannah Mukhtar for her poem Scram Sunny. And Hannah is from Excel Middle College. Hannah, take it away.
Thank you. So Scram Sunny was kind of just, I actually do this thing with my English teacher where we do daily poetry. She gave me this prompt about sunny weather, so I decided to take my take on it. Scram Sunny. Light rays peek out behind a cloud, dumb old faithful yellow, get away from my rainy shroud. Your disposition has me cowed. I'll hide away in my cynical cave until the sunbeam gleams but a cloud. They laughed and giggled loud behind silent shades until I was backed into my rainy shroud. I don't need your lemonade crowd or your beachy blues. Drift forward, O onlooking cloud. That's right, thundercloud, come right this way. Wish upon a stormy cloud, ever tucked into my rainy shroud. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And the next category is nature or environmental concerns. And our thank you to our judge, Karina Ariola. And first place went also to Hannah Mukhtar for her poem, The Cry Heard Around the World. Hannah.
Thank you. So The Cry Heard Around the World was inspired by a lot of what I had heard just in the news lately about climate change and a lot of that. So I just decided to take my take on it. So the cry heard around the world. Rough white foam brushes up from a wave, reaching for the azure skies. Woe is mine, she cries. Plastered thick is the gray smoke of the skies, wafting from grouped buildings nearby. They start to chime, the gentle tick-tock of the work time. Serene blue washes up to the shores, swish-swash about, dragging thick green kelp throughout. Green, rough and thick, but kelp it was not. Dragged along with the sorrowful slump was a grocery bag, twisted around the sea, choking its life and breeze. Oh, so gently, humanity creates its disease. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have second place goes to Marco Heredia for his poem Mountains of My Youth. Marco is from Mount Pleasant High School. Elizabeth, do you have that one?
Yes, I do. Mountains of my youth. Mountains of my youth, I call to you. What do you hide behind your blanket of mist and swarms of sparrows? What awaits me behind your earthen mounds and flocks of sheep? What do you keep that only the condor can see? As a boy, you seemed so strong. You guarded my fields of maize and grain. You fed the deer that danced in my dreams and the bees that betrothed my blooming trees. From your springs, our thirst was quenched and our rivers fed. But now the fall has set and the children must be fed. The valley can no longer sustain the calling of my heart, although it is the very valley that my soul yearns. I take up my mule through your clay-covered trails to see what hides beyond your dewed slopes. I'm blessed by the moon and the sun, whose directions I ask and illumination receive. Venomous snake, vile temptress of the earth, what do you say? I will no longer suffer your rattling fangs, for the mountains of my youth I leave. Enjoy your winters of emerald gowns and summer of golden crowns. I must go. I must leave you, mountains of my life, to the place where the sun rises and the moon blesses, the place from which the waters of life sprout and the herds of elk climb, where the horse gallops and the eagle soars. Farewell, my mountains of time. One more step, and I say goodbye.
Thank you. It's great. Third place goes to Michael Garcia for the poem For You Blue, also from Mount Pleasant High School. And I don't believe that Michael is here. James, can you read that for Michael?
Certainly. For you, blue, a beautiful blue lake, perfect for swimming or dumping your trash in, containing what we need to live and what can devastate us. It's not us, no need to worry. I'm in a hurry when the beast fights back. Just a body of water at the end of the day, a body of plastic to some, a body of delightful snacks to others. A force not to be reckoned with, but always beckoned by ignorance, pillage into the deep blue bin, but no pillage to the green bin. Sprawling life in the deep blue, dangerous lights with teeth in the dark. Darkness because the sun has gone. Darkness because of the sludge. No blue, no life. No dirt on the floor. Easier life. The blue can't keep it in itself. So why do we make it harder for ourselves?
Thank you. Next, we have first honorable mention goes to Raven Meza for Raven's poem, A Fight Between Heaven and Hell. Raven is from Mount Pleasant High School also.
I'll read that.
Okay.
A fight between heaven and hell. A planet of green, filled by the fountain of youth, Eden's secrecy, made aware to humanity, evolved to grow. How I've cared for them through the years. I've watched each one grow into a powerful being. I've watched good deeds of all kinds, all rooted from my love. From monkey to man, they thrive off my land. And now they cut me, sliced to gather my blood. They use me for fuel, each day killing me more. My angels have become demons. These blood-sucking parasites are far worse than my leeches. They kill me for fun, to grow their monetary gain. From monkey to man, they thrive off my pain. I gave them the world and Eve her apples. Yet Adam had killed, and a beast I became. The blood that had spilled filled my history. My lions were killed for sport. Thylacine hunted for living. Kingdoms fell for silly reasons, each time held by a new conference. From monkey to man, they thrive off my ignorance. I've lived for billions of years, made from rocks, soil, and all that is space. They've lived off of me, made after I spent eons working to become the perfect sanctuary. I've experimented and tested, all for them to appear perfected. And yet my ice caps are melting. My creatures are dying, yet they're thriving. From monkey to man, they thrive off my death.
Thank you. Next, we have a second honorable mention to Laurelyn Pavo, who is also from Mount Pleasant High School, for her poem, Irreversible Damage. James, do you have that one to read?
I do, thank you. Irreversible damage. I am nothing but an ant in this field of green. The land has been so kind to me. It gives me all that I need. But the gigantic figures that roam the same land have thickened the air, building factories that pollute the earth and technology that takes the job of every hard worker. The dirt that I dug through is now dry, and the bright, vivid forests I've walked through are now dull and singed. A recurring cycle of burning hot summers and frosty winters create chaos. Our beautiful earth has served us for so many years. Why have we allowed it to get this bad? Irreversible damage struck onto an innocent world, the same world that has housed different creatures for billions of years. Was it the past generations that caused the damage? Could we be the ones to save it?
Thank you, James, for reading that. Next, we have for senior poem, Thoughts on Humanity, and thank you to our judge, Vinnie Lopez. First prize went to Winnie Chow, also from Piedmont Hills High School, for her poem, Judas Kiss. Elizabeth, do you have that?
Yes. Judas Kiss. Butterfly kisses on iron's face. The hammer's caress, sweet, swinging, scars on your nape. Last stroke, I hesitate. From your neck seeps deep carmine, dousing deadened delight. Your hands limp, rest, writhing on woolen sap. I hold them like an admonished child does a stuffed bear. Your eyes awaiting completion to end 4 lives refrained, maybe to extend our ephemeral state. Nails through, come closer, I say. Our breaths mingle in bloodlust. Maybe it's love, you closing the inch as living fades. Maybe I turned astray.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next, we have the second place winner for Thoughts on Humanity goes to Hannah Mukhtar for her poem Red from Excel Middle College. Hannah, take it away.
So for Red, a lot of it was inspired by high school again. It's a very motivating and inspiring topic for me in my poems. So this is Red. The failure. Thick red lines litter the page. They flit and jeer, peering up at me with a menacing glare. Failure, marked like cattle in the slaughter. A letter stands alone in the sea, staring so innocently. My failure, regally sitting upon its throne of X's and scribbles, the letter stands cruel. These failures, mass manipulator of our kind, pitiful glances turn to dismissive glares. Mistakes aren't allowed, didn't you hear? Those failures, line by line, they stack up. A ladder to my mind, sturdy and robust. I'm failure. The red spreads throughout the page, slowly crawling off onto me until I too am red. Failure. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Another wonderful one. Third place, this is their final selection here, goes to Alexis Alvarez Figueroa for Alexis's poem, One Man's Paradise. Alexis is from Mount Pleasant High School. Elizabeth, do you have that? Oh, I'm sorry, James.
Yeah, it's his turn.
Yes, I do. One man's paradise. Man is made in God's image, and man loves to play God. He is a thief of identity, and his victims are plenty. Vision and ideals imprinted, another divine hand extended. For what is the gift of this obsequious worship? Salvation, gold, and companionship, opportunities, dreams, and truth, exaltation of millions, yet only one exists, everywhere and all at once. And what of those who do not believe? From this benevolent sculpting hand, what is received? For their timid and abhorred reprise of identity, all but damnation for all of eternity. Sinner, sinner, cast aside thy blasphemous drivel, repent and show no hesitation, for a blasphemer cannot know wealth, oration. And I do wonder, I truly must know from you, perverse in your hedonistic ways, how bodes that fruit which brought all our woe, the forbidden tree of individuality's mortal taste. Have you no penitence? Have you no shame? Or is it simply that you've gone insane? You're a fickle fiend, just had to be uncommon, and now at your side, a third have fallen. Ignominy, exile, solitude, poverty, hunger, vice, and death. The angels weep. Oh, if only he had been like all the rest. And man continues to play God, for man is made in God's image.
Just amazing poems. It's just been wonderful. Such a treat. And we want to again thank all of the students who won their prizes and honorable mentions. We want to thank our judges. We want to thank Raven Cisco, our contest chair, and also especially to Winnie Wettig Chow, who was our Colt winner. Anybody else would like to chime in here before we go?
I'd like to thank all the visitors who came to attend and pay attention. I see a few names that didn't have a reader specifically, or someone from our CFCP poets that I recognize. And I'm really delighted that you took time out and honored the poets who we were also honoring by showing your support and coming to this event. And I just really am grateful. And I know that your poets are grateful as well.
Yes. We have usually online readings on the fourth Sunday from 4 to 6. My email address is clinician1, the number 1 at gmail.com. We will be posting this recording on the website, and previous online readings are posted up on our website also at chaparralpoets.org. Anybody else would like to make some closing comments? Okay. Thank you so much for coming. And
excellent poetry, all of you.
Poetry.
Excellent.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Take care.
See you next time.
Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.